What up, leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, Hazy Roman. As always, I'm joined by the God of Night, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, Deep Voice. And today is a glorious day, everybody. We're in the Hall of Spoilers to talk about Fox and Disney doing the dirty deed, making the deal happen. Listen, y'all, if y'all ever stop believing in something, remember, you got to believe, man. Never, ever lose hope, okay? Because if Fox and Disney could pull this off, there's hope for anything, okay? This is probably the biggest thing that's ever happened since we started this dope Spectacular Spoiler League channel, and this is a glorious day. Deep Boys, we're talking about the fallout of the Fox Disney deal today, okay? Marvel's got a whole bunch of properties back. They got the X-Men, they've got the Fantastic Four, they've got Deadpool. Now, when I say X-Men going forward, I do include Deadpool in there as well, because Deadpool is included in the X-Men property. So just so you guys don't get confused by that. But, I mean, they've got it all back. So we're going to be talking about the fallout of this deal, particularly on Fox end of things. Fox's end has been working on a bunch of movies. They got a whole bunch of projects that I think some people don't even know about that are in the works. So me and Deep Voice are hitting you guys with the rundown of every single movie they've got, in the works or had in the works, and every single TV show that's currently airing from Fox using Marvel properties. Deep Voice.
That's me.
It's lit, baby.
I mean, this is possibly the greatest geek gift for us 80s babies.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean, they did the impossible. I mean, I remember we were talking about this happening when the whole Spider-Man thing happened.
Yep.
Where we thought that was probably not possible, but it happened. And then did we have a conversation on a video? I don't remember if it's on a video, a live stream, or just in private. I remember we specifically had a conversation about what are the odds of this happening.
Yeah.
And we put it like somewhere like, what, 15%, maybe 30%?
Oh, listen, I think the last time we talked, we very much believed it could happen. I think the first time we started talking about the potential for this was when Stan Lee announced, or rather Stan Lee made a comment saying he thought a deal would happen eventually. And we were like, what are the odds? And I was like, if Stan Lee believes, I believe. It seems unlikely, but, anything's possible. I mean, Really, it's the Spider-Man Sony deal that I think opened up all our minds to all these possibilities, man.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Adams in the chat put it correctly. This is spectacular.
Isaiah Adams, you the beast right now, because it's spectacular, man, and nothing short of it, man. But Deep Voice, we got a whole shite ton of Fox movies in development that we need to talk about, and we need to talk about the fallout of this deal. What movies do we think are going to be canceled? What movies do we think are going to be safe? What movies and properties do we think are in danger? First up, D Boys.
Yeah.
We've got the New Mutants movie slated for April 13th, 2018. So the New Mutants movie coming April 13th, 2018. From my understanding, I mean, production is more or less finished on that.
Yeah, it's in post-production, officially.
It's in post-production. I mean, you're the Prime Minister of post-production, so you would know that.
I wish I was getting paid for that kind of post-production.
It's in post-production, and the question is it coming out? Is it going to see the light of day? I personally think it's so far along that, yes, it will. And it's so relatively obscure that it probably will just get out there. Now, we have to think about the long-term effects of this deal, right? The deal happened today, okay, at the time of us, doing this live stream, recording this video. But it's going to take a while for this to be approved by, the powers that be, the people that make sure that this is not, some sort of, monopolization of properties and of Hollywood and things. So this deal could take up to a year, could even take a little bit more than a year. While it's reviewed, you know what I'm saying? Like, this deal it's not like tomorrow they can start implementing, movies, or these characters into their movies. Disney doesn't officially have Fox yet, okay? The work has sort of just begun. So I feel like New Mutants could still come out. I mean, April's not that far off.
No, it's not. It's right around the corner. And I don't know, maybe it's because we're older. or because we're nearing the end times, some sort of singularity is going to swallow all of us up. But time seems to be going so quickly during this day and age. So April is right around the corner. It's already December. We've been waiting for The Last Jedi for forever, and now we're here. We're about to watch it. We're getting all these movies. Pretty much, I mean, that's 4 months away. A movie is pretty much done by that point, especially any of these kinds of superhero movies. Post-production is pretty much adding special effects. That's pretty much it. I mean...
So New Mutants is safe.
New Mutants,
100%.
I think, is guaranteed to come out. And I think because they're also taking a different approach now. Me personally, I'm not going to say I'm totally excited for the New Mutants, but I appreciate that they're going to go out of their way to do something a little different. And I think the powers that be will probably let this, do its thing and just, just see. You never know. Because if it doesn't work, doesn't hurt. If it works, nothing but a benefit.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, pretty much. What about Deadpool 2, or as what I don't even know if this is the official name. It seems like this is the name that the working title, which is the Untitled Deadpool sequel. What's up, man?
Oh no, actually, I think the title has been confirmed today. I need to let me look it up real quick. This is live as it's happening.
Well, anyway,
I think it's the Second Coming. I think that's what it's called. It was
the Second Coming.
Yeah, there was a new poster or something, and on the bottom right it said Deadpool 2: The Second Coming.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that name. I mean, I feel like that movie is safe. It's coming out June 1st, 2018. And I think that it's going to be safe for larger reasons. And I think the larger reason is that Marvel, I think they still want to test to see how an R-rated Deadpool movie is gonna be swallowed by the people out there, the people who are consuming this content. Like the first Deadpool movie did really well. CEO Bob Iger acknowledged how well that first Deadpool movie was gonna be, or what was back then. And I think a lot of people are sort of worried about Deadpool in particular. So while we're talking about Deadpool, let's talk about Deadpool rated R in the MCU. What are the chances of that happening? I think Deadpool 2 or Deadpool Second Coming is 100% guaranteed. I think that's coming out. I think that's completely safe. But what about Deadpool in the MCU, D-Boys? What are we going to see from him? Are we going to experience a change in his characterization? Are we going to, some people are very worried that he's not going to be that R-rated Deadpool that Fox got to put out. What say you, man?
Well, that's been a big topic of conversation, especially today. And I mean, people have kind of thrown that out there because they don't know exactly what's going to happen. Some people didn't even want this to happen specifically because of Deadpool and the fact that they want him to be R-rated. But like you said, Bob Iger, correct? That's his name.
Yeah. CEO of Disney.
He alluded to maybe wanting Deadpool 2 to stay the way that it is. You can't really hang your hat on that, to be honest with you. I mean, honestly, there's really no way, because the mouse is the one that's truly in charge here, if we're being honest, and that's where the money is. That's where this company, that Fox is now under the purview, or those parts of Fox are under the purview of Disney. So their protocol is the way that they're following it. The only way, honestly, that I'll see Deadpool, that I believe Deadpool will stay R-rated, is if they really take this approach where it's like a subsidiary. So it's difficult because it's a bit of a double-edged sword, the fact that Deadpool is so popular.
What do you mean by what do you mean by a subsidiary? Like, talk to me. What do you mean by if Deadpool's a subsidiary?
Oh, what I mean is, I'm forgetting the name of the studio. Is it Touchstone Pictures?
Yeah, but I think it's sort of. I think Touchstone Pictures is sort of shuttered at the moment. But I mean, they do have. Disney has produced R-rated movies under subsidiaries. I think that's what you're alluding to.
Yeah.
So Touchstone Pictures, as you said, was actually the producer of Gangs of New York. If anybody like watching this video, this live stream of this video, has seen Gangs of New York, that is a super duper super R-rated movie. Like, I don't think Deadpool there's something said in that movie that I don't think Deadpool has even come close to saying in terms of how bad that movie is in terms of derogatory words and things that of that ilk. So I don't think it's like you said, if it is, if that's what you mean by subsidiary, I think it's possible.
Yeah, and that is probably not likely because I think it would take for that to happen. They would need to kind of change their business practices almost, because there's Touchstone Pictures, but as you said, it's basically shuttered. Is they're not really doing anything with it. So for Disney to suddenly say, okay, well, we're going to have a studio that's going to do some of these R-rated, specifically superhero films, it's almost, for me, it seems as if it's going to be a major change in the way that they already operate. And that, I mean, that in and of itself is a big obstacle for them to just suddenly say, well, we got these new pieces from Fox, and we're going to kind of change the tried and true way that we've been successful for the last decade, specifically with Marvel. So I don't know. There's a low chance of that happening. And like I said, Deadpool already makes a lot of money. You know, if this were Punisher, let's say, I think there's a greater chance of it happening. But Deadpool makes a lot of money. And Disney likes to make a lot of money. So yeah. I think they would rather make Deadpool PG-13, which I think could work. And I know some people are probably not going to like that, but I think Deadpool in PG-13 mode could work, especially if they put Deadpool with, let's say, Spider-Man or Captain America. Specifically Spider-Man, I think, is the pairing that, you know, we'd probably see out there in terms of the quips and, you know, the kind of things. Or, hey, I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy. They could kind of fit them in any way they want.
So just to clarify, do you or don't you think that Deadpool is going to stay R-rated? Do you think is there a chance he stays R-rated? Is he going to go to PG-13? Like, what is the definitive call from you? What do you really think is going to happen?
Deadpool's going PG-13.
Ooh.
Wow. I'm calling it right now. Deadpool is going PG-13. Ryan Reynolds should stay as Deadpool, but Ryan Reynolds is a human being, and like the rest of us, we all like money. Listen, he may love Deadpool, but he loves money more. All right? Deadpool's not real, but money is real. You can spend money. You can't spend Deadpool. So make it PG-13. Now, I'm not saying that I necessarily want that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, you know, to ease things through for the people out there. I mean, the business people, they're not really comic book people. They let the comic book people do what they got to do, but business is first, money's first. They want to keep Deadpool, that's money. They want to keep Ryan Reynolds, I think, that's also money. They want to throw him in with the rest of it, so they got to make him PG-13.
I disagree. I think Deadpool is going fully R-rated, man. And so? I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see R-rated Deadpool, and I think that we're going to see a little bit of PG-13 Deadpool. And let me explain. So first, let me say that Ben Fritz, right? He's a reporter. He's a journalist at the Wall Street Journal, right? So he got, you know, Bob Iger reportedly saying the following, okay? He says, specifically regarding Deadpool, right? Bob Iger said, there may be an opportunity for an R-rated Marvel brand as long as we let audiences know what's coming. Yeah. This is from Bob Iger. This is the CEO of Disney. So he specifically went out of his way right after this purchase to assuage people worrying about Deadpool, to say that there may be an opportunity, not just for Deadpool, but an R-rated Marvel brand. That is the quote.
Yes.
R-rated Marvel brand, as long as we let audiences know what's coming.
Listen, bro. We've thrown this a little bit out there when we've had some talks about it. A Marvel Max brand, I'm all for that. I would, as a big Marvel fan, I would absolutely love that. And as I said, I think Deadpool should stay R-rated. I think, hell, I mean, with the way, you know, if they do Wolverine, why not throw him R-rated as well? You know, I mean, there are a number of heroes they could do R-rated, but it's just the amount of money Deadpool makes. That's really, for me, the catalyst in this. But then again,
but you're literally going against what the CEO is basically saying as an option.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just one thing. Listen, it's one thing to question the amount of money he can make, but you also, like, they're very much aware. For him to say this right after the purchase is made, they're very aware that people do not want this brand to change.
Yeah, listen, it's the ink has to dry for it to be legitimate. I mean, honestly, people can say whatever. People have said a whole bunch of things and nothing has happened. People have said nothing and things have happened. Like I'm not gonna necessarily take that and run with it. despite the fact that I agree with everyone else, keep Deadpool rated R. However, now that I'm talking about it, I do feel like I'm what proves me wrong is what's kind of led Deadpool to what it is right now. Like, no one thought Deadpool was going to work. No one thought it was going to work as a rated R movie. So, I mean, this is a movie. This is a character, a property that has gone against the grain, and maybe it should continue to go against the grain.
Put it like this, man. I mean, we make the case that Marvel's got its PG-13, or Disney's got its PG-13 crowd to please. But you got to understand, Disney already has their PG-13 crowd.
That's true.
Very much serviced. Okay, this is the opportunity to spread to a different arena. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think Deadpool honestly does stay R-rated, but to tie back into us bringing up, Deadpool: The Second Coming, mm-hmm. I think that movie releasing June 1st, 2018 is going to be very much be the barometer for what Disney decides to do with Deadpool. If that movie flops, they're going to think hard about the rated R. Doesn't matter if it's the director or the writing or this and that. They're going to think very hard about rated R. Because for them, they might think a rebrand is much safer. You know what I mean? They might think it's much safer to do it that way. Now, there being a separate Marvel R-rated brand, super into that. But I think that Deadpool, and this ties back into what I was saying earlier, mm-hmm. I think there is room for PG-13 Deadpool, but not in the way you think. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are thinking it's either or. I think it could be both. I think we see R-rated Deadpool in like his solo outings. In movies with fellow R-rated characters, like Cable can be R-rated, Domino can be R-rated. But when he goes and hangs out with Spider-Man, if he pops up in a Spidey movie, when he's hanging out with the Avengers, he's PG-13. And now people might be saying to themselves, PG-13, that's terrible. Listen, like, PG-13 can be pushed very much. You know what I mean? Like,
Fox has done it.
Fox has done it. And you can also be very clever with how you do things in order to make the jokes more funny. Take, for example, at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, right? Peter swings into his room with the costume, takes off the mask, and we see Aunt May behind him, right? And she's like, what the? And it cuts right there. Like, it's clear that we know that she dropped an F-bomb, but it didn't have to play. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Like, it didn't have to come out on screen. And I think there are clever ways. Like, think about like when Cap said, I think he said shit, right? Yes. And then Tony said shit, and then Cap said language in Age of Ultron, right? Yeah. Like those little plays here and there, like if Deadpool is about to say what the, and Cap interrupts him and says language. I think those things could make it both funny and keep the nature of Deadpool the same. So I think if Deadpool interacts with the other non-R-rated characters, like I said, the Avengers, that's the main brand of Marvel. Case closed. Doesn't matter if the X-Men are coming in. The primary brand that they have is the Avengers. If he interacts with the Avengers, if he's interacting with Spidey, he's going straight to PG-13. But I do think that there's room for his own franchise, or even within the X-Men realm. Maybe the X-Men realm altogether will be their R-rated brand, and maybe certain characters like Wolverine will sneak in with the Avengers and be PG-13.
Real quick,
but that's what I think.
Before I ask you one final question on this, the comics are PG-13. Deadpool in the comics is more often PG-13 than he is rated R. They bleep him in the comics. He's in like all the comics. I mean, if you read Marvel comics, you're gonna see Deadpool in something. He's like everything. So it is possible they can make the humor work. But
that's a really good point. I never thought of it that way.
What I was gonna, I guess, the question I was gonna pose to you, Hazy, is which option do you think we're gonna end up with, or which option do you think is the most likely? Only rated R, only PG-13, or a mix of both?
I think, damn, now you're asking me to go out on a limb here. I think that we're going to see both. I genuinely believe that we're going to see both. Just as how I explained.
I think because that would be best for business.
I think that's because you appeal to both crowds. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest, Deadpool is not for kids. So if kids are out there like, oh, I want to watch Deadpool, like really truly, he's not for kids. So like Disney has no need to make it PG-13 when they've got Cap, Spidey, Black Panther, Iron Man. You know, they got all these characters already PG-13. They don't need Deadpool to be PG-13. Yeah. Meanwhile, they can appeal to a whole nother group by going R-rated. And one thing I was saying to somebody on Twitter today is, think of Marvel R-rated as sort of another genre of films that they're going to be entering into. Like Marvel in, their stage of movie making right now, they've been sort of making like genre films mixed and fused with superhero films. For example, I always use this example. Captain America Winter Soldier, right? That is a spy film, right? Ant-Man, that's a heist film. Thor is sort of like an
comedy.
80s, right? An 80s rom-com. You know what I mean? Spider-Man is sort of a high school coming of age movie mixed with a superhero movie. Deadpool could just be Marvel's R-rated movie. Their attempt at doing something really adult and violent and different, with obviously some comedy in there. And Fox has had successes with that. They've had 2 movies, Deadpool and Logan, that are rated R. But I think ultimately it does depend on how Deadpool 2 is going to do in theaters come June next year.
Yeah. And honestly, and the way that, I mean, I guess the biggest shame is it seems like the Deadpool franchise is setting up its own nice little group of characters here that, I mean, like Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I'm like, I kind of like that character. I like what they did with that character. I like what they did with Deadpool. I'm interested in what they're doing with Cable, Domino, et cetera, or any other surprises that they may bring in. But hey, we have no clue on how they're gonna really integrate this. But Deadpool is definitely that's a jewel that Fox has had in their hands, because it's no longer in their hands. But
right, and we'll see what they do with the Fox franchise, which is what we're moving on to next. Okay, next up on the Fox movie slate prior to this deal was X-Men Dark Phoenix, slated for November 2nd, 2018. Now, last we heard about this movie, it had finished production, or principal photography rather, and it is moving into post-production. So post-production just started on the movie. So we've got, I think there's 2 ways this can go, man. Either Marvel, if the deal goes through, they cut their losses and they're like, yo, you know what? We filmed this movie, everybody will get what they're supposed to get paid, but we don't want to put this out here. And, because think about it this way, right? X-Men Dark Phoenix comes out. It's a new movie in the X-Men brand, which Marvel tends to introduce into their universe. They don't want to confuse consumers. They don't want to have this image of the X-Men out there that's not their baby, that's not their product. So maybe they cut their loss and they say, you know what? We're not going to put this movie out because we want to give a chance for the X-Men that we want to do to shine. Because let's say Dark Phoenix does come out, right? Then, phase 4 begins what? Maybe 2020 or something like that. Like, Marvel may not want to, have a X-Men movie so close in the rear view, November 2018, when they reintroduce the X-Men into their universe, right?
That's true.
So maybe they cut their losses. Maybe they're like, hey, they haven't fully acquired. This deal has not been cleared yet. Okay, this deal could take up to a year to essentially clear waivers, as they use in sports terminology. So they could very well cut their losses. On the flip side, the movie just might come out because they've already reached far enough. But I'll tell you right now, they're not going to promote this movie at all. They are going to fall back on the promotional material for this, because why waste the money? Why waste the money promoting this film? You don't really want this film to do well. Yeah. You'd love to make profits, but you don't want the film to propagate in a way that dominates the consumer mindset and the consumer perception of the X-Men, because it's not the X-Men you want to build. So what do you think is going to happen, boys? What's up with the X-Men Dark Phoenix?
Man, this one, honestly, I feel like this one is 50-50. I didn't realize what the release date was. You said it was November of next year.
November 2nd, 2018.
Yeah. See, that
less than a year, man.
That puts it in a very difficult position. I honestly thought this one would sneak on through because time is on its side.
Yeah.
Not only do they have to keep finalizing this deal, but then they're gonna need to start planning things, and they already have a pretty full plate. Not just with what's gonna end phase 4 or phase 3 of the MCU, but what's gonna happen after phase 3 and phase 4. But I could see them getting rid of this movie. I could see them canceling this movie and saying, because you make a phenomenal point, that this is the biggest opportunity for Marvel here, the X-Men. And they don't want to have what's been somewhat of a whack revival by Fox to have these young X-Men. No offense. I mean, I saw Apocalypse. You saw Apocalypse.
Right. Remember, we're coming off of Apocalypse, which was like,
it was just
that was weak as piss water, man. Like that was not a good showing at all. You know what I'm saying? It
was not good. And this is also a major storyline. Them doing Dark Phoenix, which, you know, maybe Marvel's thinking, we want to do this. We want to do it right. We want to do it our way.
Right, because the last time this was done was when X2 came out. That's far enough in the rear view. Yeah. Or sorry, X3. X2 was sort of like the beginning of it.
Yeah.
X3 was actually their full rendition. Yeah. So maybe they're like, hey, that's far enough in the rear view for us to try this again.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, I've seen people talk about the dangers of this big monopolization, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you know, kind of Disney buying up all these small studios or these, you know, all these other studios. And I think this could be, I wouldn't be surprised if this is an example of it just getting completely shut down. Because that's another thing. It doesn't happen often, but there's precedence for movies being just completely kind of shut down or completely changed. Yeah. For example, I mean, this is a little unrelated, but there was a Kevin Spacey movie that they just like, okay, we're doing this over with a brand new actor, and they just like just completely cut him out of the movie and just like refilmed, and he was the main character. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
There's in my opinion, it's 50-50. Either they let this drop and they're like, you know, we're just gonna look the other way. We're just, yes, you got it, X-Men.
Is it Dark Phoenix? What? No way. You're gonna see like the cast of X-Men Dark Phoenix handing out flyers in like Times Square, like, come see our movie. Hey, check it. It's gonna be like hand-drawn drawings of like the Phoenix Force. It's gonna be like they're gonna get their kids to do drawings of like Cyclops. They're gonna be like, here, guys, check it out. It's gonna be a loose leaf paper. It's gonna be like no ad revenue.
They're gonna be no ad. They're gonna be like those people that are outside in the street that are always stopping you. Those annoying ass people asking you to sign up for alternative energy and all these other causes and stuff. They could be like, hey, you want to Dark Phoenix? You want to sign up real quick? Like they just like block you. You can't cross the street or nothing. That's gonna be the fate of the cast of X-Men Dark Phoenix.
They're gonna have the cast running around in malls cosplaying to promote the movie.
and just, but even from like a logistics standpoint, like if you're looking at how they're planning all of this, maybe Marvel. I mean, listen, I don't want to watch it because I'm just like, damn, this is just like all over the place. The way Fox is planning is all over the place, and Marvel has their plan like down to a T. So they're just like, you know, either we ignore this, or we're gonna have to take this to the guillotine.
So Deep Boys, make
public
the call
execution.
Right now. Make the call, Deep Boys. What's happening?
I'm gonna be bold.
What's happening?
I'm gonna be bold and say this gets canceled. It's going to be rather unprecedented, but honestly, what have we seen as of late besides like a picture of Sophie Turner
with super ashy skin?
Yeah, super ashy skin. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. But besides that, what have we really seen out of this movie? And what, more importantly, not what have we seen, but what have people, you know, what has people's reaction been to this? Like, what's the buzz around this? It's literally non-existent. It is.
Yeah, I think that people aren't excited for this movie. And I think, you know what? I'm going to make the tough call. I'm going to make the call that you made. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to get canceled. Because if they're going to cancel it, this is the perfect time to cancel it. Yeah. Now, once again, like Disney doesn't officially own Fox, and this deal still has to go through. So Disney could talk to Fox like, hey, this is not what we want. Mm-hmm. Like when this deal goes through, you know, we'd like it we'd like this movie not to come out. Mm-hmm. But you have to remember, like Fox has to think about, you know, I mean, listen, there's always a chance that this deal could get struck down. You know what I'm saying? There's always a chance the Trade Commission could look at this and be like, yo, no deal, no dice, we don't want this. Mm-hmm. So Fox has to do what they need to do, you know, for their profits. So like it's really a tough call, but if this deal goes through in under a year, I feel like if this deal gets done in under a year, it's finalized in under a year, you won't see this movie come out.
Listen, I'll add this. it's already been canceled, like rather softly, by Fox. Fox saying, get rid of this. Here, you take it, Disney. That is, in essence, a soft cancellation on their part. If they were, if they were planning a lot of movies, they were planning a whole thing. This is the second part of like a trilogy. Hard. And for them to say, we're good. All right, forget it. We don't want this. That's it. Beginnings of cancellation. And
that's damning.
If this were coming out March of next year, it's definitely appearing. But I honestly did not realize it was coming out in November. And we have to. What else is? Yeah, I think only Ant-Man and the Wasp was coming out in terms of Marvel movies later in the year. So maybe that's a saving grace for this movie as well. But I'm like you said, I'm making the tough call. I think this is getting canceled.
You know what? I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna agree with you on this front. Yeah, it's gonna get canceled. I think they're gonna pull the plug on this movie. It's not coming out now, Deep Boys. It becomes a lot easier from here on out, okay? Because the next film that Fox had on his docket was Gambit, set for a release date of February 14th, 2019. Valentine's Day 2019, okay? And the last we heard about this movie was that they had Gore Verbinski, as of October. Gore Verbinski was, in talks to direct this movie and may have been confirmed to direct this movie. But basically, it was still being written at the time of this purchase. Once again, this deal could take up to a year to actually fully come out. But Gambit dead, bro. And I don't think anybody out there is shedding even one single tear. Because when people were like Channing Tatum as Gambit, everybody was like,
they were like,
what? Everybody was like,
yeah,
everybody was like, Channing Tatum, like what?
Yeah,
and nobody got that. I don't think anybody was
like our emotions changed within the breath of one sentence. Fox was like, "We're giving you a Gambit movie." Everyone was like, "Oh, I like Gambit," and then they finished it by saying, "Starring Channing Tatum," and then we were like, "What?" It's like, are you for real?
Are you for real? I mean, no. Next up, Deep Boys, we've got the X-Force film that was in the works, okay? Now, this one is sort of a little more complicated, okay? A little bit more complicated. Drew Goddard was attached as director as of February 2017, right? Ryan Reynolds was set to co-write the film with Drew Goddard. Now, why is this a little bit more difficult? There's no release date for this X-Force film, but the X-Force film could still come to pass because Drew Goddard actually wrote episodes. He was the executive producer and wrote 2 episodes for Daredevil. Arguably the most successful show in terms of, like, arguably one of the most successful show that Marvel Netflix has ever put out. So to keep it short, Marvel, I would say, probably would like Drew Goddard. And I think that with Deadpool, I think Marvel would very much want Ryan Reynolds to come back as Deadpool. I think they understand the importance of the brand. I think they understand the importance of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and what he's done for Deadpool. And I think they'd want him back. Also, Deadpool's just about the only character who can acknowledge a change in a universe. Like, he's just about the only character where a universe will, like, straight up change under his feet. And he'll probably be the only one making jokes about it. And everybody's like, yo, everybody in the movie's like, what are you talking about? So, like, X-Force, and when I say X-Force and Ryan Reynolds being a part of this was supposed to be a movie where Deadpool was supposed to essentially be heading up, or it's implied that he was supposed to be the leader of the X-Force team. So while this movie, Fox's version of the movie, could be canceled, could we see Drew Goddard, could we see Ryan Reynolds continue on and work with Marvel and Disney to make this X-Force film come to life?
I think there's likely a chance of this happening. I really do. I mean, given the fact that who knows at what stage this is at, this movie, but it seemed like it was heavily linked to the Deadpool movies. Yeah, I believe that X-Force is going to make first an appearance in one of the Deadpool movies. I don't know if it was Deadpool 2 or if it was supposed to be Deadpool 3 or something like that.
Well, here's what I'll say. Domino, she's a member of X-Force, right, in the comics. Yeah. Cable, also a member of X-Force in the comics. They were both going to be introduced in Deadpool 2. So you got 3 members of the X-Force team right there in Deadpool 2. Yes. Now, Deadpool 3 which as of 2016 was in development, and according to the Hollywood Reporter, reporting about Deadpool 3, that hasn't obviously started development at all. It was supposed to also involve the X-Force team. So I don't know if the X-Force film was supposed to come first or Deadpool 3 was supposed to come first, but the X-Force team was supposed to be a big part of Fox's future plans. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the X-Force team is it's something that had a realistic possibility of probably being the core of the next, or at the forefront of the Fox movies. Now, the only thing I would say that is sort of a little suspect in terms of the conceptualization of X-Force moving from Fox over to Disney is the fact that Disney's and Marvel are probably going to want to establish X-Men first before they even move on to X-Force.
This is true. This is very true.
X-Force, personally, like the importance, the X-Force is only important because it is a offshoot of X-Men. You know what I'm saying?
I
think you sort of need to do X-Men first.
Here's a way that they can sneak in X-Force either around the time they make an X-Men movie or maybe even before. If they do sort of a Captain America Civil War type of situation, where Captain America Civil War is pretty much an Avengers movie. They're all there. Yeah. But instead of calling it X-Force, maybe it's a Deadpool, but it is essentially an X-Force movie. It's called the Deadpool movie, Deadpool whatever. But the plot centers around Deadpool either leading or funding the X-Force team. And you have all the members of X-Force there. So that's maybe a way for this movie to kind of, exist without, it obviously being called X-Force. I think the intention was on the Fox end of things to make it just X-Force, its own movie based around this team.
Sure.
But you do bring up a good point. Now, the thing is, we don't know, again, what stage this is in. So it could be that they're just going to wait. They could just wait. And then even later on, 6 years from now, maybe they decide to throw out an X-Force movie.
Sure.
Totally fine. Maybe it'll be part of, the Marvel rated R brand of movies. Sure.
Or I would say if you do X-Force, it's got to be part of this, this Bob Iger. I just want to reinforce this is Bob Iger who put this out. The CEO of Disney put this R-rated Marvel brand out there, not us. So I want to just put it out there. That was him, like, once more. So, it's entirely possible that X-Force becomes part of that brand. I will say this, too. Mm-hmm. X-Force has a chance if the way Marvel approaches integration of the X-Men characters, and that's something we're going to be talking about in another video, so, check that out. It's going to be a live stream right after this one if you're watching live. But if the X-Men are already established, like, if they already exist, and it's not something where they're just going to do the origins of the X-Men. Mm-hmm. So, like, maybe in the MCU, hypothetically speaking, like, the X-Men are, they've just been in hiding. They've sort of been a covert group themselves. Or, let's say something universe-bending happens, and the X-Men already come into the Marvel Universe established. You know what I'm saying?
Or, go ahead.
Yeah, in a way similar to how Spider-Man, they didn't retell his origin story in Captain America Civil War or Spider-Man Homecoming. It's like, this is Spider-Man. You already know the deal. It's Spotty. That's all you need to know. Okay, he's at the beginning of his career. Go. They could do that with the X-Men, and that would allow for them to introduce X-Force because, like, y'all already know who the X-Men are. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to tell you about the X-Force team.
Here's another way, and this is a mixture of a different team called the Avengers Unity Squad, which came about after X-Men versus Avengers as a way to, have a team that was comprised.
X-Men versus Avengers is a possibility. I had it.
It's
that's a look. I'm knocking my headphones out of my ears.
My mind's listen. My mind's getting blown, like exploding every time I think about it. Some new possibilities pop up, but they already have the Avengers, or they already have a lot of characters that could mesh well with X-Force. So maybe X-Force is like not just mutants, but maybe former Avengers or other characters that are already introduced into the MCU, which is, the Avengers Unity Squad, which again was made in an effort to have a team with both Avengers and X-Men as a bit of a peace treaty of sorts. So, listen, Deadpool,
the
Cable, Winter Soldier. You could put Black Widow in there. You could put, there's already, it'd be phenomenal if they did that as well.
Yeah.
As a proto X-Force, let's say.
So do we see So this X-Force film that Fox is planning, we could say it's dead. But do we see Drew Goddard, Ryan Reynolds attached to an X-Force film in the future?
I give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. So it survives spiritually.
It survives spiritually
with Drew Goddard and as a director too.
See, that one I really have no idea. But he has a track record with Marvel, like you said. So
that's what I'm saying.
If anyone, it would be him. It would be him.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So let's shift over to Deadpool 3 real quick. So as of 2016, that was in development. As I said, it was also going to feature the X-Force team. Bob Iger, in that quote that I read to you guys before, and I'll just read it one more time. All right. He said that, referring to Deadpool, he says, there may be an opportunity for an R-rated Marvel brand as long as we let audience know what's coming, implying that he does want to make Deadpool sequels. Now, this Deadpool 3 movie, will it be a continuation of Fox's storyline, or will it be Marvel integrating Deadpool into their cinematic universe, so to speak? I asked that to you, D Boys. What's the deal with Deadpool 3? Deadpool 2 is definitely coming out.
Yes.
I don't think that's not coming out. So does the sequel to Deadpool happen, obviously under different pretenses? Do we see a Deadpool sequel?
See, this is where it gets a little tricky. I do see Deadpool in the MCU.
Okay.
Now, the word here is sequel. I don't know if it's going to be a sequel to what's already happened.
Sure.
Now, it would be weird if it's just like Deadpool again. We've already had a Deadpool movie.
It'll probably be like how they did Spider-Man, like Spider-Man : Homecoming.
Exactly.
It'll probably be like Deadpool : Merc with the mouth.
Exactly. Because
like
if it's just Deadpool, that would be confusing. If it's Deadpool 3, that would also be a little confusing.
Yes.
Because I think by then, this is going to be all involved in the MCU. So I don't really think that they're just going to leave this like. There's really no reason for them to kind of keep that, tie that together, because it doesn't really benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit the property, doesn't benefit Marvel, who now owns it. So, will there be future plans for Deadpool? Absolutely. Is this?
Okay.
Are they going to have a Deadpool 3 sequel? No. I unequivocally, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
What their plans are going to be will probably be more tied to what they do with, let's say, like X-Force or the X-Men. However they decide to throw Deadpool in there. You know what? just to fudge things up a bit, will there be a Deadpool 3? After Deadpool Merc with the Mouth and Deadpool Merc with the Mouth 2, there'll be a Deadpool 3 in the MCU. How about that?
I like it, man. I'm with that, man. Side note, we're talking about Spider-Man: Homecoming. I do want to see them come out with a spectacular Spider-Man movie. Like they got... Like, I feel like Spectacular Spider-Man is all theirs. Like, I feel like that should be the title to the sequel. But that's just me, okay?
I mean, hey, this is a little off topic, but they're doing that Miles Morales movie. That's
true. That animated movie, there's been so much, man. There ain't nothing fans can be mad about right now. There's something for everybody out there, man. All right, on to the next thing, okay? New Mutant sequel movies. I'm just laughing because I know there's no chance. Josh Boone, director of the New Mutants movie coming out April 13, 2018, was planning a trilogy of films, and it was said to be exploring a different... Each film was said to be exploring a different genre of horror films. So this was as of 2017 that he was planning a trilogy of films. Will the New Mutants survive in the MCU as a film franchise? Obviously, the Josh Boone directed movies. Like, if Marvel wants to switch it up, they switching it up. It's a wrap. But will the New Mutants franchise continue depending on the success of the New Mutants movie coming in April of next year? No. What say you?
No. No, there's no reason for it. There's no way. I mean, this New Mutants that we're gonna get is gonna be the only New Mutants, or maybe this will be the start and the end of this incarnation of the New Mutants.
Yeah.
I like the New Mutants, but we're talking about something that was relevant only in the early 90s. It was great. It was a great comic. Yes. It's like, imagine The Runaways. Like, The Runaways is popular now. It was a popular comic that came out, like, in the last 10 years or so. That's what the New Mutants were way back in the day.
Right.
So no one really cares. I mean,
No,
it sucks to say, but they would have required. We got to get the X-Men right first. That is the number one priority. You know,
the words of
maybe
Predator Magnus in the chat. The New Mutants are dead.
They're dead. Oh, maybe they'll put them into a TV show. I think New Mutants will kind of make a little bit more sense in a TV show.
Now they already got a New Warriors TV show that they're working on.
Okay, then they're dead.
So they're not
because the New Warriors
and New Warriors unless they put New Mutants into New Warriors.
No. Here's the thing. I didn't mention New Warriors, but again, Runaways, New Mutants, New Warriors. They were all very similar, and the best one of those was the New Warriors. Below that, New Mutants. So we got Runaways and we got New Warriors. New Mutants, there's no place for them. I'm sorry.
Only way we see New Mutants like the New Mutants in a movie is if they already introduced an established X-Men team and they are training the New Mutants in said franchise. But I think we see the X-Men operating like in full force, like straight up, like Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine, Gambit, Rogue. Like I think we see that Beast. I think we see that straight up before we get any New Mutants. Like we're probably gonna be in our 30s. Oh God. I tried a heart attack.
Listen, one thing that
before we see any New Mutant stuff. Oh no.
The MCU is great when it comes to the Easter eggs. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, having the New Mutants, just little cameo appearances here when they show the Xavier School for mutants or whatever it's called. I'm blanking on the name, but you know, you'll see them. You'll see Wolfsbane, all hairy, just running around the hall. You'll see Magic, you know, taking training class in the danger room with teacher, you know, Mr. Logan, who's teaching them in the danger room or something like that. I don't know. But you know, I don't want to sound too harsh on the New Mutants because also we got X-Men Evolution. That's a great show that you and I
was gonna say X-Men Evolution, unless they go like that route. Yeah. And I don't mean like young teenage Jean Grey or teenage Cyclops. I just mean like, you know, older group, younger group type of deal. Yeah. That's the only way we see that. If they go like the X-Men Evolution route. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or hey, wow, that brings up an interesting possibility right there. I didn't think of that. Like imagine they do an X-Men movie where you got the older X-Men and you do have the New Mutants there. Like it's two teams.
Yeah.
Two teams.
Two teams, yeah. I mean, that's sort of what I was implying when I brought up the notion of you have the older group and you got the younger group. Yeah. And it's a situation where the older group is already established and the younger group is being trained. And that's the only way we see the New Mutants.
Agreed.
But they're not gonna be in the spotlight. They may help out a little bit, but that's the only way I feel like we see the New Mutants. You know what I'm saying? Case closed. On to the next one, deep boys. Okay. This is another one that we're probably not going to see, okay? X-23. There was an X-23 movie in development as of October 2017, okay? So this was supposed to be co-written by Kyle Craig. He's also the creator of X-23. And James Mangold, the director of the Wolverine and Logan. It was, you know, obviously he was supposed to star the girl who starred in Logan. I blanked on her name just now. But this movie's dead, in my opinion. But will we see X-23 in the MCU in the near future? Like Phase 4, let's say. Will we see X-23?
Kind of going off of that example of I guess older team, younger team. Maybe we do get Laura Kinney, aka X-23. If, you know, depending on what they do with Wolverine, I think Wolverine is maybe the priority.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll do a switcheroo and Wolverine is Laura Kinney, because that's what it is in the comics right now.
Right.
Wolverine is X-23, which could be interesting. I think it could be a little interesting. But in terms of just an X-23 movie, no, I don't think so. And also, I don't think that would be a good name either to give, you know, her solo movie, to call it X-23. No one's gonna know what the heck is that.
Right. The girl was Daphne Keane, by the way.
Yeah.
That was the girl who played Laura Kinney or Laura in Logan. Now, I think there's a chance if they do introduce X-23, I think an older Daphne Keane definitely gets a chance, because I mean she was a kid in Logan. It's feasible that if they do an older X-23, if she's older at the time they want to do that, I think it's feasible that she did really well as Laura Kinney. Like,
she's really good.
Like, I enjoyed her as Laura Kinney. Like, I enjoyed her as X-23. Yeah, like, normally kids, when they're doing stuff like that, you just like, please just get on with this. But she was pretty good, man.
She's 12 years old. She's 12 years old. So in 2 years, she's 14.
It's gonna take a while if they do anything with like the X-Men and for X-23 to pop up. It's gonna take a couple years. Like she'll be a teenager before we get to see her on screen, before we get a chance to see X-23 on screen. So it's entirely possible she gets cast again.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I mean, she was
not at all.
She was great. She was great. It would be nice to kind of see her again as she's older, and you know they do something a little different than what they did in Logan.
Right. AMJ, you in the chat? You said you haven't seen Logan. Watch that, but be prepared.
Bring some tissues with you.
You're gonna need some tissues, my man. Let's just say that I was affected by some bad allergies while I was watching that movie. All right, man. But here's the thing about why X-23, in my opinion, is a far way off in Phase 4. At least being the primary Wolverine character, as you sort of put forth the notion of happening. Mm-hmm. That's because I think all of us have been waiting to see like Wolverine alongside the Avengers. So I think we definitely see like Wolverine, like Logan, James Howlett as Wolverine, like occupying that role for a little bit in the MCU. Personally,
and who would that be?
It's not going to be Hugh Jackman.
It's not going to be Humongous Jackman.
Your boy Hugh Jackman is done, man. He's done.
I mean, he did say he would maybe consider it at some point.
He would consider it before. He said, see, that quote kind of got blown out of proportion because he said, while I was considering doing Logan and making that it was like my last movie, if they came and said, oh, we want to do an Avengers movie with Logan, I would have rethought it. But that was prior to him actually doing Logan. If we see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, he's going to be old man Logan. Like I don't see him being like Wolverine in his prime. I think he walked away from the character. I think he's done. The most he gets a cameo or a reference or an appearance as old man Logan. And that's gonna come into another video we gotta talk about that we're gonna be talking about later on. I ain't gonna say anything, but I will say Secret Wars, and I'm just gonna keep it moving. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Next
I mean,
movie.
honestly, I mean, real quick, I wouldn't be.
Go ahead,
I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't even be against if he's just in like a appearance. He's in one movie, and he dies in that movie. Okay.
You just want to know.
It's because it's just shout outs to the OG Hugh Jackman. Listen, he's the man. He's the man.
Bro. I don't want to spoil Logan for anybody in the chat right now who hasn't seen Logan. But you're not killing Hugh Jackman, bro. You are not bringing Hugh Jackman to the MCU just so you can kill him, man. Okay? Don't you try none of your dastardly shenaniganery in this here hole of spoilers, all right?
I think
you better step outside the hole of spoilers if you're going to talk about something like that.
I think I would shed more tears if they did that. If they brought him again just so we could all clap, and then he goes out like a champ, just clawing people.
I'd be shedding tears for you because after I murder you for doing that, I'm going to cry because I can't believe you would even suggest that they do that. Bring him in just to kill him? Are you kidding me?
Because, I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. That's it. But you just, a brief appearance.
Let your nostalgia go, okay?
I can't.
Because you're about to cross into the dark side of the force right now. No, let it go, okay? Next movie. Multiple Man. Starring James Franco, everybody. As of November 2017, okay? James Franco was cast as Jamie Madrox, a.k.a. Multiple Man. Alan Heinberg, screenwriter for Wonder Woman, okay? So that's a big movie. He was a screenplay writer for Wonder Woman on the DC side of things. He was attached to film with Simon Kinberg, who's a producer at Fox, and James Franco co-producing Multiple Man. Multiple Man is dead, sir. And it ain't gonna be no multiple. Who wanted a Multiple Man movie in the first place?
Listen,
who?
I will say this. But hold on. Let me just, as someone who's a fan of Multiple Man, let me just speak up. He does not deserve a solo movie, but he is a great character. Multiple Man is a cool character.
Okay, but who asked for a solo movie of Multiple Man?
I think it's one of those things where it was like, hey, wouldn't it be quaint if we did this? And then it was like, oh, how about we cast James Franco? And then they talked to James Franco. He was like, yeah, I like doing movies that nobody watches.
Look at me. Wouldn't it be whack if they did that? Would it not be whack if they did that?
Possibly.
That's terrible. Who asked? Like everyone in the chat right now is like, yo, who asked for that? If you're watching this video right now, in the comment section, just write who asked for that.
Multiple
if you
Man.
Support me, just say who asked for that.
Multiple Man is dead in the comics, and they did him dirty. But see, okay. He doesn't.
For deep voice
I'm just saying
this.
he doesn't.
Let me
He
get some water.
doesn't. I'm just basing this off of this Multiple Man solo comic that they did a while back. It was actually really good. He doesn't deserve a movie. He doesn't. I don't want to see James Franco. To me, is Harry Osborn. That's it.
Pretty much.
I don't need to see him in anything else. In any superhero movie. That's it. It's done. It's over. Definitely, I would like to see Multiple Man in something, not his own movie. You know,
I agree.
If they have it's not X Factor. They're probably not
X Factor.
But
what about if he was on like the Brotherhood of Mutants? What
yeah,
about that?
yeah, that could work.
I'd be down for that. He was wrong with them in X-Men: The Last Stand. Not many people remember that, but he was in X-Men: The Last Stand. So, yeah.
I mean, that's not the best movie to kind of bring up.
That was a wonderful movie. What are you talking about? All right, next up, man. Next up, man. I'm gonna put these two together because this is another. All right, get ready, y'all. This is another round of who asked for this.
No, but hold up. I think the only go ahead, because I know who.
What are you gonna say? Say it.
No, but you need to announce it first. You've been doing a good job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. These are two I'm gonna group together because this is another round of who asked for this. All right. Mm-hmm. As of February 2017, Simon Kinberg, once again, one of the bigger producers at Fox, somebody who's very much involved with the X-Men franchise, confirmed that there was a film adaptation of Alpha Flight and the Exiles in the works over at Fox. In terms of that, these are the last two movies that they were said to be working on: Alpha Flight and the Exiles, as of February 2017. It's been another round of who asked for this, everybody. This is Hazy Rome, and I'm retired. No. Who in the blazes asked for that?
Okay, let's start with the Exiles, because I had no idea they were doing an Exiles movie. I literally 20 or 15
I almost
minutes,
exiled myself from the planet when I heard that they were making an Exile movie.
15 minutes before we went live, you mentioned they were doing an Exiles movie, and I was like, what? Like, we're talking about. Like, in the 90s, they went crazy with the X-Men teams. Crazy. It would make sense if they did X Factor, if they did the Externals, if they did Excalibur. The Exiles. I mean, they barely even had any comics. Like, who? Maybe it was the concept. Somebody thought it was cool, and they were maybe doing it for some reason, but like you said,
I like how you said that. Maybe somebody thought it was cool. Listen, bro, they were doing the same damn thing Sony was trying to do before they went to Marvel. Like, yo, please help us save the Spider-Man character. True. Sony was out here talking about doing Aunt May solo movies, dog. Aunt May,
that would have been dope.
Solo movie. That would have been hot garbage. Okay. The biggest plot of the movie is that she's out of flour and she needs to make an apple pie for neighborhood dinner or something like that. I don't know, neighborhood dessert, something like that. Like Aunt May, the solo movie? Hell no. We don't need no Exiles movie. As for Alpha Flight, we don't need Alpha Flight either.
Now, here's the thing about Alpha Flight. I don't know if you've noticed this, but over this year in 2017, whenever we had X-Men conversations, I feel like you always bring up Alpha Flight.
Because I like Captain Marvel, or I liked Captain Marvel before Civil War 2.
Yeah,
that's the new version, mind you. That's the new version.
That's the newer version of Alpha. And I'm not saying that. I'm not putting it out there to judge you. I just always found it as a bit of a curiosity. It was kind of periodic. You'd bring up, hey, what about Alpha Flight?
Because Alpha Flight's cool, man. Because here's why I brought it up. Okay, here's why I brought it up. It's because at the time, like X-Men Dark Phoenix, which seems to be going a little bit like, I guess we were going a little bit cosmic with that. Mm-hmm. Fox hadn't yet explored anything cosmic. Mm-hmm. So I was like, why not use Alpha Flight to do some cosmic stuff?
True.
Or like, at least like sort of do some cosmic stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why I brought up Alpha Flight. But I don't need no Alpha Flight movie. Like here's my thing.
especially without Captain Marvel.
Right. my thing is like Captain Marvel kind of makes Alpha Flight relevant in today's day and age, right? That's one. Two, I would have been down for Alpha Flight movie if Fox seemed like their house was in order. Like if Apocalypse was like the most fire X-Men movie you ever seen, and everybody was hyped for Dark Phoenix, I'd have been like, woohoo, Alpha Flight, let's try it out. Let's do something new. I don't give a damn about Alpha Flight. Otherwise, I like the team Alpha Flight, but they don't need a movie.
No, they don't.
They don't need a movie.
And I think at this point, no movie. But even if Alpha Flight were to be incorporated, I mean, these are my criteria, my own personal criteria. Have to be involved with Captain Marvel.
Yes.
And hell, they would have to tie them into S.H.I.E.L.D. just to make it less complicated. Alpha Flight would need to be the division of S.H.I.E.L.D. that defends, you know,
Alpha Flight would need to be
outer space
the elite. I'll even go a step further and say Alpha Flight would need to be the elite arm of S.W.O.R.D.
There you go.
S.H.I.E.L.D.'s interplanetary defense, like, branch.
Yeah.
They would need to be like the special ops team for S.W.O.R.D. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean that's why I even mentioned
Captain Marvel like the helm, like you said.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Yes.
But no solo movie.
Yeah.
They do have some interesting characters in Alpha Flight. You know, there would be
Sasquatch.
There would be some representation. I think North Star, you know, is homosexual, for example. There would be some representation there. You know what I mean?
I'll say this: I could totally see Puck being a funny character. Yeah. Like I could see Puck being like a funny, like dwarfish, like a funny, like short guy who's got like a bone to pick with everybody. I could totally see that, and I could see Sasquatch being like the group of Alpha Flight.
Yeah,
lovable big guy. I could see that happening. Okay, in terms of merchandise, sure, but we don't need no Fox Alpha Flight movie.
Nah.
Now let's shift over to TV shows, everybody. We're done with the movies, thank God. We're done with the movies, okay? The Gifted and Legion. Now, we all may be cutting ass on some of these movies, okay? But I think there's a fair share of us that like The Gifted, including me and Deep Voice. I've never seen Legion, but I know Deep Voice likes Legion, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. I haven't finished watching the previous season, the only season. It's something that I can't exactly wrap my mind around, but that's, I guess, part of the allure. You know what the heck is going on? It's just totally different from anything else that's out there. And
Legion is getting a season 2, or at least before this deal, they were supposed to be getting a season 2.
Legion,
it's supposed to.
Seasons
it's
2
supposed to. It's supposed to air in February of this year for 10 episodes.
Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the last season they do of that.
I think it airs, and I think it's done.
Not that it should be the last season, but
I think it airs, and I think it's done.
Yeah,
I think it airs, and I think it's done.
And maybe, again, since it's such a quirky show, maybe that's just what makes the most sense for the show.
Yeah. It was in a vacuum. It was in a bubble. And now it's done.
Here's the thing.
Now The Gifted, rest in peace.
Yeah, Gifted. I'd be surprised if it gets a season 2.
Gifted's done. Gifted's done.
I've really been enjoying it. It's been a breath of fresh air. You know, I mean, we watch a lot of the Arrowverse shows, and we have our problems with it here and there.
We certainly have our problems with at least half of the Arrowverse shows.
Yeah, but Gifted's entertaining, and Gifted's
great.
They do a lot with a little, I'd say, and I really appreciate that.
Yes, I think the way they portrayed mutant powers, I think the mutants they picked for the show were dope, but I think season 1 is going to be one and done. Thank you for the fun. I think it's wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I think it's getting that sumo slam and it's done, bro. Like, first of all, when you look at the way, like, there's been reports and conflicting reports, because I've seen reports that said the Gifted was doing all right, and I've also seen reports. The most recent report I saw was that Gifted was struggling ratings wise. Now, that tends to happen when you have breaks in between weeks, right? They did that a couple times already, all right, where they had a break. I think they did it once, and now they're in the fall break. So they did it like once in the middle of the season, and now I think they're doing a fall break, right? And then they're gonna come back in January to only do like 3 episodes. Yeah. Like, and you have to remember they were also showing the show on Saturdays. To me,
Sundays.
Saturday. It was either Saturdays or Sundays. I want to say it was Saturdays.
On the weekend. Regardless, it's a weird.
They were showing it over the weekend again. I think that was to boost viewership.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was doing well enough to stay.
Yeah, I don't. And also, Disney's doing some sort of overhaul of like their TV content. Because I see some people in the chat mentioning, you know, Netflix, Hulu, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Marvel, and this is based off of what we heard from Jeff Loeb at New York City Comic Con 2017.
Preach.
He poo-pooed Netflix a little bit there.
He did.
he was poo-pooing Netflix, and he was pushing
Nobody
Hulu.
talked about it, but he did.
Yeah. And they have Cloak and Dagger on Freeform, which is Disney, right? They have
and just to say what exactly he said.
Yeah.
When Jeff Loeb was talking about Hulu and talking about the Runaways
and ABC,
he was like, "What'd you say?"
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was saying. I think I'm paraphrasing here, but he said Hulu, the best, one of the best networks out there, or the best network out there, or something along those lines. And like it was something that you wouldn't say if you held Netflix in high regard.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And let's not forget, he was having us all chant, like cheering for Hulu.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
He had us up in there like a cult.
Son, we've attended multiple New York Comic Cons with Jeff Loeb present, talking about Netflix shows, and I never seen him hype about Netflix the way he was hype about Hulu.
Yeah, I can't really say much about Hulu. This is the most I've watched Hulu, just to watch Runaways. I'm not a big fan because of the ads, but I mean, in this day and age, it is what it is. And also, like I was saying, Jeff Loeb also poo-pooed on the Inhumans. I mean, reasonably so, which also is a bit of a stab at ABC, in my opinion, because if we're looking at how things are going with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how things went with Agent Carter, I think ABC is out of
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on there.
Yeah. So, and I'm blanking on this, but there was news of Disney doing their own sort of streaming service.
Yes, coming 2019.
Yeah,
Disney. DC's coming out with one also, but that's slated for 2018. It's going to premiere with Titans, Young Justice Season 3, and a Harley Quinn animated series, if you guys didn't know. But 2019, Disney has said that they are coming out with their own streaming service, but they've already stated that the Netflix shows are likely going to stay on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, yes. But yeah, Disney definitely has their own streaming service coming out. So, we're going to see some shows on there, for sure. Not knowing Humans, though. Humans is dead, bro.
And Humans
I see how they're talking about Humans in chat.
It's done dotted. I mean,
listen, man. When we're done with this video, I'll send you guys, DM me, and I'll send you the coordinates for its coffin, so you can lay some flowers down at the grave. It's dead. It's better than dead times infinity, bro. We're not gonna see.
They gave it a funeral service like at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Less people showed, and there were less fireworks.
Yeah, the only fireworks was them lighting the episodes on fire, like the hard copies, the episodes, the DVD, Blu-ray releases. They were lighting those on fire. But anyway, Deep Boys, let us know what you think about the Fox Marvel deal. Let us know what you think about the properties that we talked about that were in development. Let us know if you think they're going to be coming out. Let us know if there's if you think any of these things have a chance of surviving. And by all means, if you're in the live stream right now, you need to drop a like on this video, because if you're in the live stream right now, why were you here without dropping a like? Like, you must have liked the video if you're here, like, till this point. And if you're watching as a video, you're also supposed to drop a like because you're still here watching. So drop us a like. If you're not already subscribed to the Spectacular Spoiler League, hit that subscribe button to join the cause. Click that little bell icon to turn on notifications so you can be up to date with the latest and greatest coming from the Spectacular Spoiler League, including live streams like the one that this video debuted on. That being said, me and Deep Boys, we're getting out of Hall of Spoilers. We'll see you guys on the next one. We're going to be talking about Marvel and Fox and Disney and all that good stuff for the foreseeable future. We'll see you guys on the next one.